Hey guys, Neil Waterhouse. Received an email from Kirk Waters saying, "Hi Neil, hope you can help. I'm 65 years of age with very little eBay and computer knowledge. Am I still able to build an eBay business from scratch with next to no existing knowledge?" Well Kirk, absolutely yes. You can build a full-time eBay business, even if you have no eBay experience and very little computer knowledge. The fact that you managed to send me this email means you have all the knowledge required to get started. I remember back when email started taking off back in the 1990s. Anybody with the knowledge of how to send an email was thought of as some kind of computer guru. Nowadays, we just take emailing for granted. In fact, 5-year-old kids can do it now. None of us were born with any computer knowledge or any knowledge of building eBay businesses. In fact, having no knowledge can sometimes help, as you not have the opportunity to learn like bad habits or outdated habits. The good thing is you don't need to be a computer expert to build an eBay business, and you certainly don't need to go back to university and spend years getting a degree. And you don't need to waste time trying to figure out what other people have already figured out before you. It's amazing how many people think they need to be a computer genius to run an eBay business, but this is simply not true. Just like you don't need to be an electrician or electrical engineer to turn on a light switch, or a mechanic to operate a motor vehicle. An eBay business is all about running your eBay business and not about being a computer programmer. If you need a computer programmer, you can very easily hire one from $3 per hour. But that's for another video. The secret of building an eBay business, if you want to call it a secret, is like most things in life, is to simply get started, and all the questions, then all the answers will magically appear. Let me explain. Like with many things in life, questions often cannot be answered with the current knowledge a person has. I'll just say that again. Often a question cannot be answered with the current knowledge a person has. Let's say someone wakes up tomorrow and decides they want to quit their job and grow mushrooms commercially for a living, but they've never grown mushrooms in their life and they've absolutely no idea how to get started. So, what's their options? First, they could say they've never ever grown mushrooms before, therefore they'll never be able to do so. Or they could, have a go and try to figure out how to grow mushrooms commercially by themselves. Or they could find somebody who's growing mushrooms commercially for a living and ask if they can help them. Or they could pick up a book or a white paper or go to a seminar written by someone who successfully grows mushrooms commercially. Don't get me wrong here though. I'm not trying to flog you one of my books so I make my couple of dollars profit per book sale. The point I'm trying to make is with growing mushrooms or building an eBay or any other business is you don't need to reinvent the wheel trying to figure out what other people have already figured out before you. Whatever question may arise, somebody's almost certainly been there before you and figured out the answer. Just like making a cake, you can either figure it out yourself or you simply just follow a recipe, but always try to take advice from somebody who is at where you want to be. In regards to building a full-time eBay business, the path's been well and truly trodden before you. There are over 500,000 full-time eBay sellers out there, so there's an answer for pretty much every single question you can come up with. You just need to get started. So the first question appears. It's all about those baby steps, one baby step after the other. If you're building an eBay business or almost any other business, it's all about going as far forward as you can with your current knowledge. Then when your progress is halted due to a question, it simply requires some research to find the answer. And there's always an answer. The secret to success with most things is just figuring out all the questions and not giving up in favour of the next shiny new object. Or as Winston Churchill quoted, never, never, never give up. Many people ask me why I donate my time doing presentations to the eBay and Amazon groups around Australia. My answer is always the same. I learn from them. Sure, I share my experiences in the presentations, but very regularly people in the audience will also share their experience and reveal something they're doing new, which is working, or something they've figured out which I've never seen before. That's why these groups can be so beneficial to everybody. I'll put up a page at the end of the video with links to the groups. Now, as anyone with a full-time eBay business knows, we all kind of work underground in the trenches, hiding behind our keyboards, and it's always great to socialise with other people who are doing the same thing. So, bottom line, Kurt, anyone who can read can build a full-time eBay business from scratch. Just get started, get your first question, and through a little bit of research, the answer will almost always magically appear, and very often quickly. Building a full-time eBay business is all about those baby steps, which I've talked about many times before. That's all for this week. Please leave a comment for me below. Until next week, list more, sell more. This is Neil Waterhouse.